And good morning. This is Saturday morning if you're hearing it live. I'm sure people will be watching it during the week. We will be talking to Brandon Graham in just seconds, but first, just let me tell you that again today, and I don't know what to call them. You call them callers, streamers. After Brandon, we'll have you on there if you'd like to chime in, and we'll put out a link for you to join the program as well. I want to thank our sponsor, ABC Tickets. You need tickets anywhere in the world, you can get them from ABC, 800-355-5555. But any tickets that you want anywhere. And the good thing about ABC Tickets, you don't have to worry about all those excess ticket fees. You buy the tickets, whatever they charge you, there's no more extra charges from ABC Tickets. So, by the way, if companies want to sponsor on this program, and I've talked to quite a few, and there's going to be a limit to how many, just get in touch with me on my website, howardeskin.com. And again, we'll talk other things after Brandon. We'll talk about the Phillies, who have their first preseason game today, and the Sixers, who are a total mess. But just whatever, they're not in good shape. All right, let's welcome Brandon Graham, who is currently, I guess you could say he's currently still an Eagle, even though he's a free agent, but he's an Eagle and just coming off the Super Bowl win. Brandon, we talked about this before we went on the air. I'm amazed. Your daughter competes, and I'm fascinated by this. She competes in gymnastics, and you went to an event, it was in Texas, and she's been competing since how old was she when she started with gymnastics?
I'll say 5 years old.
And she's
Well,
nine.
she wasn't
She's nine.
competing right off the rip the first year, but the second year when she was six, that's when she really started. Now she's 9, so she's been going for about 3-4 years now.
So you have another athlete in the family then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she like competing, man. I mean, it's just in her to she got that strong will, man. So got to put it somewhere.
So all right. So now you've come off the Super Bowl. Uh, it's been interesting. It's what, almost a couple of weeks ago, and you had the parade. Are you still on a high from that Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's still on the high. You try to enjoy it as long as you can, because as you know, they're about to be talking about the 2025 season and getting ready for that, and what teams is going to be ready for, what teams going to make a run for the playoffs and Super Bowl stuff, and it'll be over with. And then we have the June ring ceremony. That's the only time it kind of be brought up again right before training camp happens. But yeah, I'm still on a nice little high right now. I'm still, enjoying it with my teammates. I know a lot of guys just went out to Vegas to do a little trip that I could make, but it was cool though. It's cool because I'm just happy that everybody getting that experience because I remember how it was for us when we won the 17. So I'm just enjoying the ride.
You know what? You're talking like you're still on the team, which you are technically. Um, how much thought, and you're trying to enjoy the Super Bowl win, and I get it, and there's still the glow, as you just said, from that. How much thought have you put into, and we get messages here from people, please come back another year. Obviously, you have to make the choice with the Eagles. How much thought have you put into that, whether you're going to come back next year?
Well, you know what? I've talked with my family, talked with wifey, and even the kids, and I got to talk with Holly and everybody just to kind of get on the same page. We kind of just been putting it off because of just everybody's enjoying what's going on. But man, I ain't in no rush. If it's over, it's over. If it's not, shoot, let's get it. But I'm working. I'm working either way because I'm gonna be a part of the Eagles somewhere in there. If it's a player or with the organization. But yeah, I'm just excited, man. Just to be in this position because I mean, year 15, usually you're getting kicked out the league, and people asking you to come back, going on 16 years, so it's a good situation that I'm in, but I want to make sure I go about it the right way.
You know what? There's a couple of things that I'm sure are part of it. Number one, Howie
Mhm.
and has got to, or the organization and the coaching, whatever, want to have you back. Uh, and there's the free agent and fitting people in with the cap and all that. You're going to lose some players. I mean, I don't know that
Mhm.
Sweat is going to be back because they can get a third round pick for him if he signs somewhere else. You got to think about Williams, about Becton. I think Zach Baun is a lock to come back. But the reality is, so that's one part of it. Then the other part of it, your body tells you whether you're ready to come back for another year. So, of
Yeah.
those two areas, what is the most difficult that you think on the decision for you to come back next year?
Well, I think it's really what the team want to do. Of course, you're gonna always think your body is good. I mean, especially not for me. I mean, my tricep, that was it. Pretty much my whole everything else was feeling really good, other than just getting that surgery for the tricep and stuff like that. But man, I just know that, like you say, you got to fit in on what the team moving forward is what they trying to do. No, it's not a bad thing, because going out on top is always a great thing too. But we're just sitting around. I might make sure I talk with Howie and everybody at the facility, and just see how they feeling, and if it don't make sense, because of everybody feeling good about just where we went out at, because man, a lot of people don't get to go out on their own terms, and I know that for me, I said this was my last year too because of me getting hurt. It kind of changed some things, but I was so happy to be able to get back and at least playing that Super Bowl that made me fulfilled. And so now we just got to have those conversations on what the team want to do moving forward. But I'm really just talking like I am still on. But either way, I know I'm still gonna be a part of it, regardless of if I'm playing on the team or not.
How much is it that your body, after games when you were playing, obviously hurt, you didn't
Mm.
feel it. The next day after a game, I know some players are so sore. It's so, especially offensive, defensive line. It's so physical, and you're involved in every play physically that you're in there. How much of this decision will be, can my body go through another full season, 17 games? Can you go through a full season? How much of that is comes into your decision?
Well, you know what? On how they do it nowadays, man, my body be feeling good because they take care of you. It be, you don't have to take on all the plays that you used to play back then, like 80%. I mean, like a JC, it ain't got to be like that. Like what I'm saying, it's a good rotation, but sometimes, it just depends on how the team uh, moves. Like, do you, as far as some people, they don't care if you're a vet or not. We gonna get everything out of you. And for me, the Eagles been taking care of me because they know what they're gonna get on Sunday, and they know what they're gonna get in practice when I am available to go out there and practice and do the little stuff. So I just think it's how they manage you. I think that's very important, especially at this age. And the Eagles definitely have managed me in a way where I don't feel as sore as some of those guys that do have teams that don't care if you a vet or not. They gonna run you. They're gonna get you down to get you to get out there and play. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I think the Eagles did a great job of managing me this year, and managing just even the whole team, because you want to be able to have these guys ready for the game, and you don't want guys hurting going into the game because you want to practice all crazy. Not saying that you don't need practice, but it is the way it is, working smarter than harder.
You
Hmm.
know, it's amazing. During the season, it's not amazing. In Philadelphia, you get, whether it's the writers, whether it's on the air, well, Nick Sirianni is not working them hard enough, and they're not, in pads enough, and they're not physical in enough practices. That obviously has been a benefit, not just to you, but to other players. So,
Hmm.
how important was that, the way Nick Sirianni decided to kind of gear it down for the week during practice for the team to be physically at their best on Sundays?
Well, you know what? The best thing I get them is, they ain't listening to everybody else because, I mean, if everybody else could do it, they'd be in that seat too. But I know that, Coach, he hears people, but at the same time, he knows his team. He's the one who's spending time with us. He the one who see what we can take. We did have a young team this year, so of course, we turned it up a little more because you want to make sure that these guys know. I think it paid off for us later in the season where these guys just they we gained the trust of Vic. We worked our butt off all year. We did exactly what they wanted to do. He wanted us to work a little more. We worked a little more, but as we got towards the end of the season, he started to see that everybody was on the same page. Everybody wasn't having mental bust, mental mistakes, and I think we just gained the trust where he felt comfortable going into these games to know what we needed during the week. And if we showed that we was focused and did all that, like he always rewarded us. So he can keep I think he should keep that same formula like he's doing. It's always about getting better, and I think he's gotten better. Nick Sirianni over the years that he's been here and gotten better every year, even during some of the stuff that the fans would say. And I know that it's not always easy to kind of go against what the politics of it, but
Right.
I think that him winning the Super Bowl gives him more credibility to let people like relax and chill, and know that it's everybody in the building that's doing this together. And Nick Sirianni has done a great job of handling that adversity when things wasn't right. So give him a chance.
You had 13 snaps in the Super Bowl. I guess,
Mhm.
I didn't look at the season numbers, but I guess that was your average for the season. Was that kind of your average a season? Is that enough for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, like 20, 15, 20. But man, I thought it was so crazy. I get 13 snaps on the last game of the season that we win. And I win 13 in the first round. Like it's just like, man, it's so crazy how we score 55 points on Washington. When man, it's just all these different things, man, that popped up during this year, especially this season, that I'm taking in consideration. It's like, man, hey, that was a sign right there. 13 plays, and I felt like I played really like good. You know what I'm saying, for the ones that I was in there, and it was just cool, man. I feel fulfilled. But like I say, I wanted to, talk with the team, see where they want to, see where they headed, because I mean, it
Right.
is a lot of people like BG, come back, and of course, the competitor in me want to make sure that I give it everything I got all the way through. But I am excited for what's to come too. If this is the end all be all in my career, but I know that somewhere in there I'm gonna find somewhere to be a part of the Eagles.
Brandon, when I'm going to go back to the other Super Bowl, which you obviously were in big at the end of the game. The next year, after that 2017 season, and you win the Super Bowl that year. Now, the history says when a team loses a Super Bowl, they don't have a good year the next year, and they don't get back to the Super Bowl. San
Hmm.
Francisco was the culprit this year. But you won a Super Bowl, but the next year you didn't even win the division. So, do players, and how tough is it for players to not just live off that high of winning when they get in the next? It's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work. I'm not out there, but I know it's a lot of work. How
Hmm.
difficult is it for the team, based on that Super Bowl win, to focus and be ready to be at your best the next year?
Well, as you know, you don't get everybody back. We got a couple coaches already gone. You know what I'm saying? You get new coaches coming in. It's rare that you get like a team like Detroit to bring everybody back because everybody want to bet on the type of team that they have. And of course, they did have a good season. They just got injured. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the game too. But with us, we lost Kellen already. We lost our quarterback coach. We promoted our coordinator in house. I like that because everybody knows everybody already, and I think that just a chance for Kev to do his thing too. And then I think that just the new guys that come in that we gonna sign. that how we gonna draft. You got to get people believing in the dream. Everybody still kind of enjoying. Like I know this whole offseason, Saquon gonna have a busy one because everybody want him to do a lot of things. But it's on us as players to make sure that we keep everything the main thing because it's so many people coming out of the woodworks on wanting you to be a part of whatever it is events that they got going on, and sometimes it can kind of get in the way of what you trying to do, what you trying to build, and then sometimes you don't work out as much because you are doing so many different things, and your routine can get kind of out of whack a little bit. So I think if the guys just continue to just like stand still, like do stuff, but do stuff with people that you already been working with. Of course, you're gonna have some new people coming around, but make sure that it's still aligned with what you're doing. And I think that learning from that Super Bowl, you got to get everybody on the same page coming off, so that it won't be, oh, they having the Super Bowl hangover and all that stuff that happened in 2018. Even though we got right towards the end, but we didn't make the plays to win against the Saints that year, to win to get to the next round. But
Right.
boy, like you got to make sure that you stay locked in. Make sure that if you're not satisfied with just winning one. Shooters. I mean, you see the Chiefs. Chiefs came out and did it. It's like why we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure that we just stay focused. And I think we got a good thing going. And I think Howie and everybody will get everybody back on the same speed.
You mentioned and teams, and I think the numbers average teams that win a Super Bowl, their roster changes 15 to 18 players the next year. Now, some of them are backup players, but some of them are significant because you can't fit everybody in under the cap. When a team wins a Super Bowl and players play well, they're going to get more money than the Eagles can offer them somewhere else. What players do you think need to come back for the Eagles to be as successful the next year?
Well, of course, you got to make sure, as you can see, the D line, the D line took over that game in the end, and that's what you need. You need a front seven that's going to dominate, in that run game. Because as you know, it's a passing league, but they starting to bring the run back. Because of course, the Eagles this year we ran a lot this year, and
Yeah.
you got to make sure that you're able to be bullies up front, and then of course. Zach Bond will be, a top priority, especially him and N'Kobe together. N'Kobe gonna be coming off injury, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that he's gonna come back with a vengeance because he didn't get a chance to play in that Super Bowl. And I know for him, he was having a heck of a season. And I know already just from being in there, being in the training room with him while I'm still rehabbing my tricep, I can see the fire burning for him, on just his attitude. So that's gonna be nice in that room. And then you got the corners locked up for a while. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with Slay, but you got Cooper, you got Q. Them guys gonna be locked in for at least another 2 more years before you got to try to extend them. And then every year, like you said, every year it's gonna be different. But at least we got our O line. I don't know what they're gonna do with Makai, but that's another one. That I feel. I mean, you got Steen. You got people that's gonna fill in. That's just in case if something happened. Then of course you're gonna draft again, and you might get a hit in that. Who knows? But it's just how you draft, and then how you like you said, the people you pick up that's willing to take cuts if you don't have enough, or you right there, but they want to be a part of this organization. You got to hope that a little bit of that happens, where people want to bet on themselves.
You know what? Josh Sweat really played, and this is what you got to be careful of if you're an organization. He's
Hmm.
playing on a contract year.
Yeah.
So, did he give you more than he did the years before because it was a contract year? He really played well, and in the Super Bowl, he played really well. But uh, how do the Eagles replace? And I don't know that Sweat they're going to be able to sign him. And the fact that they probably get a third round compensatory pick, probably figures into that too. Uh, can the Eagles replace Josh Sweat the way he played this season?
Well, you know what? when you talk about replacing a guy like Josh, you got to go with somebody that got experience too. I mean, you got to go with somebody in free agency if you do that. If it don't work out, where you can get him back based off how much he's commanding right now.
Hmm.
And I mean, you want everybody back because obviously Josh Sweat was drafted here. He went through some things, but things ended up working out in his favor in the end. And so, all you want is for him to be happy wherever he goes, if it's here or anywhere else. And I think, yeah, if you do have to replace them, I think most of the time you replace them with other experienced guys that is in free agency this year and see who you can get. That's doing good. I mean, because everybody is unique in their style of play. Josh Sweat definitely is unique in his style of play. Get off is fast, elite. I'm excited to see what how they work it out. Because I mean, just when I think we ain't got no money, how we always figure it out somehow, some way. So I'm just hoping that they figure it out because they got Milton Williams, who another one. But you got Jordan Davis and them guys who getting ready too. So they planning ahead for everybody, and you gotta take your emotions out of it, and it's all about priority and who they prioritizing, especially for the future, who they consider who they want to build around. And I think we're gonna see what Josh Sweat and what they're gonna do there. But I think that if you do have to replace them, you got to replace them with some experience, somebody that can come right away and kind of give you something. Unless you have something on the bench that that might take off, like because Jalix Hunt, he could step in and have a big role this year too coming up. If he does the right thing this off season and make sure that he keep that hunger, and I know he will. But that's all that
Right.
stuff got to factor in. You can't take a step back because you won, because sometimes that happens too. People get satisfied with, man, we won a Super Bowl, and they think it's just gonna turn on. Nah, you got to make sure you putting that work in every year.
All right, you mentioned Slay, and Slay's name has come up, talking about whether he's going to be back next year or not. Who do you think, if Slay doesn't come back, and I don't know, Cooper DeJean, I like where Cooper is.
Hmm.
He could probably he could probably play corner, he could play wherever. But who do you, and I like Isaiah Rogers, who obviously got a little time this year. I liked him when I saw him in camp.
Hmm.
So, who do you think the Eagles could play at the other corner if, in fact, Slay doesn't resign here, it doesn't stay here?
I mean, you just said it, Isaiah. I mean, you got to take a chance with Isaiah. Then, of course, they're gonna draft one, but at least if you can get Isaiah on a cheaper deal than what you would get Slay, and then just go with him for the year and see and get somebody behind him that's young, that can either learn from him, and hopefully Isaiah, that's his spot until he don't want it no more. You know what I'm saying? But I think you go with Isaiah if you can't bring Slay back, and then you just take a chance, and y'all all play together, and you just draft somebody to get ready just in case if Isaiah have a breakout year, and of course he's trying to get paid because of all the stuff he's been through.
Yeah.
And then yeah, then you have your bases covered. You got somebody learning from him on top of you drafted somebody that that's come that hopefully is a hit
Right.
for you, that might, maybe he might not need some time. Maybe he might be a good player right away for us, and we figure out a way to bring him in. But then I know for sure you got Reed and Chauncey in the middle, and then you got to find another safety, in there somewhere to be able to, move around. Somebody that's going to be able to play in the box, just like how Reed and all them guys come downhill and stuff like that. I mean, we got a good problem to have right now. We got some guys locked up. The O line is going to be good again this year. Coming up, we just got to make sure we stay healthy as always, and then we got to make sure that everybody's taking that step forward in their progression in this offense, and
You,
on defense.
Brandon, one thing that I don't think enough players realize, and because you're really kind of old school. I don't want to say you're old, but you're
Mhm.
old school, where being out in the community is important. Being a part of the community, and I don't know that enough players realize that. in today's game. You have gotten involved in so many things in the community. We mentioned the Ed Snyder, the youth hockey program was really something that you got engaged in. You know, how many things do you get engaged in, and how important do you think it was for you to be a part of the community in so many different ways?
I think it's very important to get out there in the community because you got a bunch of people that look up to you. Then it's funny when you get players that come in. Sometimes they might not be drafted guys, but they be like, "Man, I remember when you came to my school and you did this." And I'm like, "Dang, boy, I've been playing for a while for you to make it to the league." And I was talking to you as a young boy. You know what I'm saying? High school, whatever it was, but it's like, man, you just don't know the impact you have on people, and then even with the fans. So, I mean, I would always, say to guys, man, make sure that you know what you like, who you are, and in this, and the platform that you have, and make sure you utilize everything because even now, like. I had a couple different offers because people think they don't know if I'm done or not, but it's just like, man, we would love for you to come over here and all these different opportunities pop up. Not saying that I was looking for that, but it's just people love just what I stand for, what I'm about, about serving others and trying to help, other people, especially during hard times in their life. You want to be there for people because it's so easy to be there for people when everything going right. But sometimes, you really see a measure of a man on how people are and women on how they handle people that they feel that everybody done thrown away. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
everybody don't think, like, even in autism. Like, I'm sure when we show up and show out for them, we let them know that they not by themselves. It's a lot of people that go through things just because they don't say it publicly sometimes. But this is why I do what I do because I know people that go through this, and I know the daily struggles, and I want people to know that they not alone because it can feel like that. And so, being doing all this stuff is just really just me doing my duties, man, of serving. And then it'd be cool when you get somebody that really heard what you said, and it helped them in their life. And that's all you really want for people is to put a smile on their face. And you want them to be able to put a smile on their own face, not just off somebody else, but it's about what you feel, how you feeling. And you just hope that they can hold on to stuff that can keep them going in a positive direction.
You know what? It's interesting that it's moments, and I know I've gone to schools and I've talked to people. At one of the games, Rob McElhenney, who's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's got
Hmm.
another show now, came up to me. It was before the Rams game, and he says, I just wanted to thank you. I've met you before." I said, "Okay." I says, You know who I am?" I says, "Yeah, I know who you are." He said, "I came up to you and I looked at his age. He had to be like 11 years old. You stopped and talked to me. You gave me an autograph, and it just things. And now he comes up to me and he remembers those things. People don't, especially you, a player, more so than me, obviously. But it's amazing how much impact you have, and even if it's only a few minutes, how
Yeah.
much impact you've had to have that a lot, not just somebody where you spoke it, right? The impact. I mean, it's important. How it's really important for players to understand that, and obviously you do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it didn't start off so good for me here because at first I was kind of hiding. Wifey would be the one that be like, "Man, you got to get out the house. You got to do something because you can't just be sitting around just because people calling you this and calling you that." It's like, nah, like you got a bigger calling. And so, I mean, if you don't have a girl, that's one thing, because it's easy to just feel sorry for yourself and be like, "Man, this don't mean nothing. It don't matter. What I do. Everybody they got other people that they can look up to or whatever." But at first I was mad at the city on how they was treating me.
Oh,
But
you got buried. You
oh
got
yeah,
buried.
but it was cool though because I had a good village. I had a good village of people around me that didn't let me fold on just wanting to go hide because of all that stuff that was being said about me. I did something about it, and I just trusted God and, man, fought every day and was around like minded people that just was like, man, ain't nobody ever gave me anything, but you gotta go earn it. You gotta go fight for it. And that was all I did, one day at a time, man. And even now, it's just like you just carry that mentality all the time, keeping that chip on your shoulder. But I know that I don't have anything to prove other than, just man, I just keep that chip to keep myself going, so that I won't get comfortable, you know?
And you have commercial endorsement too. You have primos, and obviously, the money's not going to change your life that you get for endorsing primos. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other opportunities besides primos that uh, come from the way you've been. How important do you think is to get commercial opportunities by the way you've been? And do you believe by being that way you've gotten, and I don't know what others you have, but I know you have primos. How important is that by the way you are to get those things as well?
Well, people want people to represent their company well, and they always in the business of trying to find, other ways to get people to, come around. And if I'm a good dude and people respect me, they will want. I mean, it's a good fit. It's not we would love to be a part of what you got going on. Like it's always like the pitch with me, like, just man, you do a great job of this and that, and we would love you to just come along and be a part of our stuff. And
Right.
if it fits, it fits because not just I mean, some of the organizations or some of the places might not be as good. They might have the name, but they might behind closed doors, it might have the people running it, might not be the best of people. You know what I'm saying? But they want to, they want somebody that could change a lot of things in their organization, and sometimes that be the case. I haven't really ran across nobody that's been real bad, but they always say
Yeah.
all money ain't good money, but for the most part, it's been so good with Primos. It's been good with who else I got? Dang, why can't I think right now? Well, I know
I'm tr-
Primo for sure. But then the Snyder being on the Snyder board, man, that's another
yeah.
great one. Being able to help them, the kids, the events that I get to go to. Even with me being on the board, people just respect me because they know it ain't easy to get on there. And man, I'm thankful that they even thought about me when that time came. To add some more members on the board, and it's just been a fun ride, man. Over time, and I just been oh yeah, Campbell's. Yep, Campbell's reached out for the year.
Yep.
That's been cool. Just all these different people, and I think Campbell's happened because I ended up going to meet up with one of the guys up there just randomly. I had went to a business combine and they told me like, while you in this position, you need to go start meet some of these CEOs of these companies while you can, while you behind the NFL, and just meet with them and just go say what up. And that's what I did. I met with Campbell's. Nothing came from it until this year. You know what I'm saying? When they came back and was like, "Hey man, we love to work with you for the year. Use your likeness." Did a couple commercials in there, and it was cool. Like man, you just don't know the seeds that you plant when you doing it. You just doing stuff just out the kindness of my heart at that time, and then next thing you know, it started to bloom a little more later on. So it's been cool, man. Like I don't have no complaints, man, other than that it's over. I'm like, dang, man, it's all over with this year's team because we was just gelling all the way, man. And then it's like soon as you get to the end, it's over, and in a good way though.
You know what? I don't know if you like soup. I actually like soup. It's a nice a
Hmm.
couple times a week to have some soup. So I'm on board because they've been a part of my life, Campbell's, for a long time. So it's all
Yeah.
right. Just keep on pushing the soup. You should be back even if you're not playing. Keep on pushing the soup.
Oh yeah, man, I love the soup too. They had the little spicy soup added this year, so I had couple of them, a couple of the new soups that they offering, and yeah, man, I'm with you, man. I'm all about it. I'm all about just trying to help others try to get to where they trying to go, in this, and man, I'm just thankful, and I know it's more to come, for me and everybody down the line.
Okay. I one last question. Um, and I know this is you kind of mentioned it through your head. How important is it, or how much of your thoughts is it going out? Because there's other players that went out after they won a Super Bowl. How
Hmm.
important is it, or how much of a part of your decision is going out a champion as opposed to, I don't know that I'm going to win a Super Bowl next year? How important is that?
I mean, it's important, man. It's a big thing right now, because a lot of guys can't say that they went out after a win Super Bowl, and then talking with guys like Selleck who did. I mean, of course, Selleck probably wanted to play a little more, but I don't think he have any regrets now, looking back on it because of him being a part of this
Yep.
second one too. And that's how I look at it, man. Like I got my body. Everything is intact right now. I mean, I get my body checked after every year, my brain scan just to make sure everything is still good
Yeah,
and
right.
all this stuff, man. And to come out clean and to come out with a championship to end it. I mean, man, I'm in a great position right now. And it's just really about what the team want to do. I'm gonna leave it in their hands too, on top of some other things what me and my wife talk about. But I think that once I talk with Howie and them, I really have a good idea on where we stand. And like I say, I'm gonna be a part of the organization somehow, some way. So if we do win it all next year, hey, I still get one with them because I'll be working with them if I ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I'm just committed to what the Eagles got going on. I love that I've been a part of this Eagles organization. I pretty much lived half my life in Philly, so
Yep.
Philly is home, and I can't see it no other way right now. Being nowhere else and rooting for anybody else other than my Michigan team.
Well, yeah, they got some I can't believe that they're fighting on the cheating that they did, but you don't have to get into that.
Hey,
It's
it's
just
all good. Hey, man. Hey, let me tell you, we
Harbaugh's
ain't do no
gone.
cheating, man. We ain't do no cheating, man.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, right.
Hmm.
Well, the comments. There's a lot of comments from people, and I can't. It's hard for a player where everybody loves you, and looking at all the comments, there's always somebody that's complaining.
Oh
There's
yeah.
always the haters out there, but you don't have any. I mean, I'm looking at all the comments here. You
Oh,
don't
trust
have
me, they in
any.
there. They in there. Even the ones that saying they love me, hey, it's all good because we need them. We need them. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool though because I look at it like, man, as long as people know that I was trying to be as genuine as I could be, with stuff, and I might not know you like all the time when people say, "Oh man, I met you here and there." It's like I meet so many people. Unless I really had a good moment with you and we had a couple more moments, then yeah, because some people get mad at me if I don't know who they is. And it's like, how you gonna expect me to know when like you don't meet as many people as me for me to come to you and be like, hey, you remember me? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like it's all good. It's all good. Cause it's all love either way it go. Like if I remember you or not. And if I don't remember you at that time, now I'm gonna remember you because you brought it up and now we had another moment that I'll probably remember when down the line. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I say, "Oh, I forgot." You bring it up, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was you that said from the last time." So, you get it's all good, man. Because I look at it no different, other than I'm still gonna be me, still gonna treat people the way I do, and no matter if they a hater or not, I thank you because you keep that chip on my shoulder and you let me not get comfortable with where I am and think that everybody gonna like you, and I know that ain't the case.
all right. Well, I appreciate everything and all the years that we've done things together. I've always appreciated that, and the people really, right now, they appreciate you. Whatever you do,
Hmm.
whatever you do, I'm sure, and you're going to be around, and you're going to be in the community. Whatever you do, uh, they're going to still love you, and you've been nothing but class. Even when people have ripped you, you've been nothing but class, and it's hard for players to maintain that because in today's world with everything going on in social media, it's
Hmm.
easy. It's easy for players to say, "I've had enough," and then
Yes.
you've always been there for the media and for people, And I compliment you on that, and I thank you for that as well. I appreciate it, BG.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll be talking to you, I'm sure. And good luck to your daughter, too. She's the
Oh yeah.
next athlete in your family.
I know she over here getting ready now. She like I'm hungry because she got gymnastics at 12.
Feed her. Go feed her.
I
All right.
know. Look
Thanks,
at him.
BG. Thanks. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, how are you?
Yeah. Over here telling me she hungry and ready. I'm like, I know, trust me, I got you.
I'm glad we gave her a little shout out there. All right,
Uh-huh.
thanks. All right,
Yep, I
take
got you.
care.
All
I'll be
right.
talking to you. Thanks a lot. All right,
Yeah.
Brandon Graham. Nothing but a class act. And you know, a lot of people talk about players and say, "Oh, they're class acts." Well, he really is a class guy, and he's a nice guy. He doesn't do it because he has to. He does it because he wants to, and he's a part of the community, and that's really important. All right, we put out a link. If people want to join the program on I guess the link has gone out on all all the platforms, all the social media platforms. Is that right, PJ? It's going okay. So you can join the program. There's things that obviously I want to address and I want to talk about. The Phillies, but the Sixers are a complete joke. I don't know how people go to those games. I mean, how do you go to those games? How can you sit through that? The last game was the Boston game. It's their defense sucks. I mean, totally sucks. It's like, and then after the game, you hear the coach say, "Oh, we got to play better defense." Well, if a guy's not playing defense, take the 10th guy on the bench. You get his ass out of there. It's a joke. I don't know I don't know what you would do with this team. I mean, you can say what you would do, but we're going to talk about that, and I want to hear what you have to say. It's just, and we'll talk about the Phillies. I'm big into this lineup change, and now that's become, I started this last year, the lineup change. We're going to talk about all those things. We're going to take a short break, but I again want to mention thank you to our sponsor, ABC Tickets. Anywhere in the world you want a ticket, and don't worry about all those extra fees that you pay on all those online ticket services. The price of the ticket is the price of the ticket, not all these other things added on. And ABC Tickets, you can call them at 800-355-5555. And any other sponsors that want to be a part of this great program. I see, I don't know if I know this guy. Well, I guess it's because it's a podcast. He says the Sixers blow. I said, Vince, I don't know. They can't do anything well. So they are terrible. We'll talk about that. We want you to talk about it, but I'm going to talk more about that and tell you what a travesty things are. What a travesty that things are. Trust the process. That was a travesty, and it's anybody that still says trust the process. It's a disgrace. All right, we'll be right back. And again, if you want to be a part of the show, you can click in. If you want to be a part of sponsorship of the show, go to howardeskin.com. And I'd love to have you on board. See, when we talk about a sponsorship, this is better than radio because you don't get locked into, being with 5 or 6 other commercials. You don't get locked into just being there. Here, I will talk about you because I want to get to know anybody that is a sponsor. It's so much better than radio being a sponsor on a podcast. It's really, it creates more of a branding image for you, the sponsor. And I'd love to have you aboard. All right, we'll be right back. There's so many things to talk about, and be right back with you. Tim wants to give me a shout out from Trevos. I just periodically look at some of these comments that people make, and I'll mention those too. It just, we'll talk about it. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Howard Eskin Show. As we broadcast live on Wednesday nights at 7:30 and Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, but it's there forever after that on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we invite callers. If let me just say, the Sixers, their contract situation is so strangling and is so bad. But I want to get a caller in first. A caller. I call them callers, streamers. If this is who I think it is, Cowboy Jim. Yeah, it's who I think it is. Boy, you look like crap. Let me just tell you something. You look like crap.
I'm sorry. With the lighting and the makeup that you have on, you look 30 years younger.
Yeah, well,
You do.
well, the lighting's good. There's no makeup. Yeah, you know what? On television, you have to use makeup because there's a lot of light. This is free form. It's just talking to the folks, talking to nitwits like you.
Well, but radio, you had the voice for radio. The face, I'm not too sure about, but you
Well,
look
let me tell
good.
you something. I'm a good-looking guy.
You look pretty good. You do.
Well, thanks. I always look good. Every time you see me, I've always looked good. All right, what's your issue today? You know, I always reiterate how the Cowboys suck, and they're not going anywhere. They are a mess. They're not as bad as the Sixers, but they're a mess. So, what's your issue today?
Well, losing Zach Martin, that's troubled me because they are already having trouble on their offensive line.
They stink.
I know okay. They're just fine. They have all pros. They got Dak. They got Micah Parsons. They'll be fine as long as they stay healthy. Look at your team. Look how healthy everybody stayed. You
Yeah,
know
that
as
was
well.
important. That was important. The Eagles
Important. It was impossible. It was a miracle. Come on. You have to admit that.
Well, no, it's not a miracle, but luck comes into it. All those people that criticize Nick Sirianni because he didn't work the players hard enough during the week, obviously that came into it because you didn't have all that physicality with the tough practices during the week. You'd had enough. Obviously, it was enough. They won a Super Bowl. I don't think they played the best team from the AFC. I think Buffalo was the best team. But regardless, it doesn't matter. They still kicked the living daylights out of them.
Well, Kansas City showed up for a paycheck. That's about it. They just showed up for a paycheck.
They weren't good enough. If you look at their season, you look what happened at Kansas City during the season. You know, between the officials and breaks, it wasn't a miracle, but it was close to a miracle that they got into the Super Bowl. But once you get the bye, and you get the bye week, and you're playing at home, it's so much of a factor. But the Eagles are clearly better than any team still in the division.
All right, but do you think that the Chiefs? I saw this with the Cowboys in the early '90s with their dynasty. That do you think they're tired? I mean, after all the Super Bowl runs Kansas City does, all the games. I mean, it's year round for 5 straight years. Do you think they're tired?
I don't know if they're tired, but every year you lose players, and they started to lose more important players every year. And you know, Kelsey, you know, all this Travis Kelsey. I mean, he's great. Was a great tight end. Still a very good player, but they're just not as good. They don't have as many great players, and because their offensive line wasn't as good as it was previously, I think Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. But because their offensive line wasn't as good as it had been in previous years, they didn't just show up for a paycheck. The Eagles just kicked their ass because they were a better team, and the better team doesn't always win, but they were clearly the better team.
Well, just remember, you have 2 Super Bowls. You have 3 more to go. So it's a long journey to get to 5.
But these Super Bowls, you don't have to dust off the trophies. Where the Cowboys, you have to dust off. You're still a dope.
All right, listen.
Still a dope.
I have one more. I have another question here about when it gets to the NBA. Look at the NBA. Okay, so ESPN does not want to cover baseball anymore. They're like after the 2026 season, they don't want to cover baseball. Like they're saying it's too much. But they'll spend $2.6 billion for the NBA. And who's watching the NBA? Or the
You know what? The ratings are not as good as they used to be, but they're still good enough. Charles Barkley actually mentioned this to me, and I didn't even think about it. When TNT and the NBA gets all these contracts, the difference is, and this is the last year for TNT, I think NBC takes their role next year. But when you watch other programs, you can stream them on demand, and you can cut out the commercials. Mm-hmm. When you watch an NBA game, you don't want to watch it when you already know the results. Or when you watch sports, that's why so much is, it's not because the product's great, it's because people have to work their way through the commercials and be there for the commercials, because you don't want to watch it on demand. You don't want to watch a tape of a game that you already know the results. So that's the difference. They pay a lot because they know that you got to stay through the commercials to watch the final result of that game. The NBA sucks. The NBA is a broken product. The NBA has players most of the season that don't play hard. There's only maybe 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win a championship. It's really awful. It's an awful product, and the commissioner at one time said, well, we can't have load management as a reason for players not playing in the game. They still use that, but they couch it with, they're managing his ankle. They're managing his knee. You know what? It's a joke. You play hurt. Michael Jordan played 9 straight years, all games, 82, and every game in the playoffs. 9 straight years. Give me a break with all this. But it's a bad product. There's nothing you're going to do about it. And the ratings are down, but it doesn't matter. There's still networks are still, they want content. They're still going to pay for it.
Okay. Well, now as for the Phillies, it's another year. Everyone's older. They're older now. They're slower, and yet they're predicting them to be like the 4th best team in baseball to go to the World Series. But yet, look at nothing's changed.
That's the odds. Now, the Phillies are not the best team. So anybody that thinks they're not the best team, or thinks they're the best team, they're not the best team. Larry Bell was on the last podcast, and he said their pitching is great, and he thinks they're just as good, if not better, than the Mets. I'm paraphrasing what he said. They're not as good as the Mets, and I don't think they're as good as Atlanta, but you got to play the season. And their pitching is good. I don't like the way they strike out. The Phillies have maybe 2 more years of a window. Maybe 2 more years of a window. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Nitwit, I can't say it's nice seeing you, but especially the way you look, because you're an ugly guy.
I am. I'm extremely. But I have a good tan, though. I'm vacationing all the time.
Yeah, I know you do. And when you get free rides on the air.
That's right.
So hey,
all right, Dingbat.
All right, Nitwit. I'll see you later. Just, since he touched on the NBA, the Sixers. Whose fault is it that the Sixers are this bad? Well, it's the owner. It starts at the owner, Josh Harris. Then it goes down to the fact that he hired a general manager who is a con man and not a good general manager. He doesn't. The 2 contracts. Can you believe Joel Embiid is still due? And this is as a few weeks ago. Spot Rack, which is a website, and the guy Michael is on it. The Sixers owe Joel Embiid just under $274 million through 28-29. $274 million. And I hear people say, well, you got to trade him. Well, they missed that 3 years ago. And then Embiid after the last game, well, I'm trying to do the best I can, and it'll be better, and and he kind of he always makes an excuse. Well, my knee hurts. It always hurts. People play with sore knees. There was one play that I saw, I guess it was on ESPN, where I don't know if one of their analysts pointed it out. One of the players for Boston drove to the basket. Embiid didn't even move to try to stop him. Didn't even move. He's under the basket, and he didn't even move to try to stop him, his shot. He got to the basket, and I don't know if it was a dunk or a layup. I mean, it's a disgrace. And then Paul George, what a joke that contract was. He went on vacation for the All-Star break, and he said the salt water, after the last game, he said the salt water did him good. You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Saltwater did him good. He's owed right around 186 million through the next 3 years after this. I guess it's 27, 28. You got to be kidding. You're stuck. And Daryl Morey says at the trade deadline, he feeds a line, and the reporter actually printed it. A trade for Paul George has got to be a home run. Hey, listen, I would take a strikeout just to get rid of him. What do you mean a home run? You got to get rid of him. You got to reshape this team. He's not. But the last game before the All-Star break, he averaged, or he didn't average. He scored 2 points. He hasn't scored more than 20 points in 20 straight games. He's not going to play more than 50-some games this year. They are. I don't know why people even go out to those games. Stealing money. The team is stealing money, and you can't make excuses. You know, Tyrese Maxey, I think, is the best player on the team because he plays the hardest, plays for the coach, plays for his teammates. He wants to win more than anything, and he's not concerned about his own numbers. Even he said, yeah, we got to play better defense. Well, just don't say it. Somebody's got to stand up, and it's the head coach that's got to impress this upon them. So, again, we welcome your calls. PJ, do we have other...
There's a guy named Craig in here, but he needs to turn his mic on.
Okay. Hey, Craig, you got to turn your mic on. Turn your mic on, and we're going to put you up. All right? So you can...
Craig. Yeah, maybe let people know that they can click the link and call in.
Okay. Yeah, there's a link up. You can click the link and call in. Did Craig drop off?
Yeah, I'm going to kick him and see if he rejoins.
Okay. But it's just there's a link up there, and you can join the program. Now, as far as the Phillies, I don't like their lineup. I don't like their lineup. And they're going to do different things in spring. They played Saturday for the first game. And Rob Thompson is going to try different lineups. And I understand that. But it's spring training. You can't have Schwarber leading off. And, you know, the Phillies are talking about Turner leading off. Larry Boa mentioned Turner leading off the last show. I'd still rather have Stott. He works a pitcher, and you want your leadoff hitter to work the pitcher. It's just I want Stott. I want Stott. My lineup is Stott, Turner. If you all want that, go from lefty, righty, all that nonsense. This didn't exist years ago, and teams were successful. Stott, Turner, Harper, and then I want Bohm, who makes better contact than anybody on the team. I want Harper, I want Bohm, and then after that, I'll put Schwarber at 5. And I don't want to hear Rob Thompson say, we want to get him as many at-bats as you can get him. That's fine. If you get the guys on base and you can steal base and do things, if you can get guys on base ahead at the top of the lineup, Schwarber's going to get his at-bats, and he's going to get at-bats with men on base, and he's going to get more fastballs. I want him 5. And then you can put JT, I guess, at 6, or you can put Castellanos at 6, and then fill out your lineup the rest of the way. But you stack it at the top, and if you can get and I worry about JT Realmuto physically. I mean, a catcher, I don't think he'll catch. If he catches 100 games this year, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if he catches 100 games. Are the Phillies the best team in the division? No, the Mets are. And I know they added some. Their pitching isn't as good, but certainly their offense is better, and they've got some good young players.
We got a guy named Matt.
Okay, all right. Let's go back to, I call them streamers, callers, podcasters. Let's go to Matt. Matt, you're on the Howard Eskin show. How are you, Matt?
Oh, he dropped?
Matt, he lost his line. Matt was there, and Matt is gone. All right. I guess it's tricky when it's not just a phone, but we'll get I had a Matt last time. I don't know if it was the same Matt or not. But anyway, you're welcome to join the program. I also want to give a shout out. Fran Dunphy, who is now basketball coach at LaSalle, has announced he is retiring at the end of this LaSalle season. And it's tough for LaSalle. Coaching is coaching, but you don't get the players that he used to get when he was coaching. Even at Penn, he got good players. At Temple, and not that he doesn't have good players, he has good players with LaSalle, but it's harder with this NIL, which has ruined college sports, this NIL, to exist and coach the way you want to, because you don't always get the players that you want to get. And that's a challenge for coaches. But Fran Dunphy has had a great coaching career, and you don't find coaches like that today, that more of the fundamentals. I mean, there's good coaches. There are good coaches in college. There are very good coaches in college basketball that really do the right things for the players. And, I don't want to get into the other coaches, but I want to give a congratulations to Fran Dunphy for a great career, and hopefully he finishes out and he makes some kind of tournament, finishes out his career the way he should finish out his career, coaching and winning. Right now, the last time I checked, LaSalle barely had a winning record. So hopefully and it really is hard today. With the Fred brings up the transfer portal and the NIL. It's so hard to keep and get good players. A team like LaSalle, it is hard. It's hard for a lot of those teams, because if a player is good, he's probably going to another school the next year because he'll get paid. I don't know how much or how many players on LaSalle's basketball team get paid, but it's hard in today's world. It really, really, really is difficult. So, I give him credit. He came back to coach LaSalle, where he played his college basketball. Good luck, Fran Dunphy, to whatever he does, and he'll be involved in college basketball in some way, wherever he gets involved, he'll be good. By the way, the Eagles, and I do want to be clear about this Eagles free agent situation. Fans and people have to understand, and there's going to be some complaints when the Eagles and Howie Roseman don't keep certain players. I would be really, really surprised if Josh, and we talked about this with Brandon Graham, I would be really surprised if Josh Sweat is back with the Eagles next year. Becton is an interesting situation. Sometimes guys, because this might be the biggest contract of his life, because he won't get one after this one. Becton, and he did a great job on the offensive line. I think it's less than 50-50 that he comes back. Milt Williams, he's going to get a good contract somewhere. And Slay, I think the Eagles have, and Slay's going to want to get some money, because he says it's going to be his last year. He's going to play in Philadelphia or Detroit. Well, they got to want to offer you the money. And when teams win, as Detroit did, they're going to have to pay players, and they're going to have problems with the salary cap. That's going to be, and there's going to be other players that leave. It always happens. As I said earlier in this podcast, in the show, when teams win, and the Eagles winning a Super Bowl, other teams get carried away with the play of those players. And sometimes the play of those players, it's because of the other players they had around them. Don't you think that Josh Sweat did a hell of a job? But don't you think Josh Sweat was better because he had Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on the defensive line? Don't you think Milt Williams could have been a little bit better because he had those guys on the line? Don't you think Slay probably played a little bit better this year because the team had a better pass rush? Had a better pass rush without blitzing probably than any other team in football. It's just, It really is unbelievable. And Zach Baun's going to be back. I don't think there's any question that Zach Baun has to come back, and they're going to have to pay him. So, I'm trying to read these messages from people. One caller, George, or one guy that sent in a message, he said, George says, I like the Braves as the best in the NL East. I'm not sure about that. They have some really good players in Acuna and Strider as a pitcher. I get it. And the Mets pitching isn't as good. Somebody wants Arthur to call in or join it. I don't know that Arthur even knows how to work social media. Thank to Vince calling me the Eagles Insider of the Year. That's fine. I just try to do things and bring it to you. But the secondary is good because of the pass rush. Players are better because of other players on the team. So we'll see what happens. All right, the next time we're on, and I will announce it, and you can catch this podcast on all the social media platforms, and that would be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram in any order, and YouTube. You can catch them all, and I appreciate everybody that really joined the program and watching. I guess George has another question. Yes, I'll have Mark Lawrence on during the football season on Saturdays. I might have him on right before March Madness starts, because the Wednesday night show right before March Madness starts is obviously it starts on Thursday. And forget about those playing games, right? It starts on Thursday. It's just I'm looking at some of these comments here, but I'm going to have Mark Lawrence on, and thanks to everybody, and thanks to Brandon Graham, and thanks to our sponsor, ABC Tickets. If people want to be a part of this program in terms of sponsorships, again, podcasts are better than radio because you can just talk about them. You don't have to lock yourself into what they call in radio as a spot set. You get locked in with 5 or 6 commercials. Now, you do it. I talk about you because I get to know you. Tickets anywhere in the world. You don't have to worry about all those extra fees when you buy tickets online. ABC Tickets gives you a price. That's it. You don't have to pay all those extra fees. And their number, 800-355-5555. Next show, Wednesday night live, and then it's streamed forever. And sponsors got to understand that. They're always mentioned forever on all those social media platforms. Everybody, if you're watching live, have a great weekend. If you watch it after the weekend and catch up on Brandon Graham. And he said some interesting things. I don't know what he's going to do, whether he's going to come back, but just the way he's talking and doing other things, and we'll see how he says. It really comes down to what the Eagles want. And this is just a guess, so take it for what it is. It's just a guess. I don't think Brandon Graham will be back with the Eagles as a player next year, but he'll obviously be back with the Eagles in some capacity with that football team. And some capacity in going in the locker room and doing all those things. And the players, even the younger players, have to respect a guy like that. But I sense by some of the things that he said, and going out on top, there's nothing like going out on top. John Elway, I know, went out on top, and other players went out on top after they won a Super Bowl. There's nothing like it. I sensed by some of the things he said today, and if you didn't hear it, you can go back and listen to it, that he won't be back as a player. But obviously, he's going to be back in some capacity with the Eagles. Just my thoughts. No inside to that. Just my thoughts on what he said. And we'll see what happens. Again, if you're watching live, have a great weekend. If you're watching it after the weekend, I hope you had a great weekend. And everybody enjoy it. And we'll announce who our guest will be on Wednesday. I have some ideas of somebody who could be really, really honest about things that are going on outside of player or coach or whatever. And I'll have coaches and I'll have players on. enjoy it. And thanks for watching the Howard Eskin Show on any of these social media platforms. Have a good one. Take care.